I'm Dicus,
I'm Tolbert, and we're here today
as your counselors,
to give you some information
about programming.
programming the most exciting time of the year.
Awesome.
Let's roll. This year, we decided to video part of our classroom presentation for two reasons. First of all, it guarantees that every student gets the same information, and secondly, the counselors get tired of saying the same thing 6 or 7 times a day for 3 days in a row.
The goal is for you to be aware of your timeline, know how to plan your electives, and choose the best balance for yourself.
Take a look at these dates so that you have an understanding of how the programming process goes. You are watching this video on December 9th, 10th, or 11th. You will have from now until December 18th to complete your programming sheet. Get it signed by your parent and return it to your English teacher. Then starting in January after exams and continuing through February, you will come to guidance with your English class and meet individually with your counselor who will answer any questions that you have and review your choices with you to make sure that you are on track for graduation. At this point, you will have a tentative schedule that includes core classes recommended by your teachers and additional electives of your choice. In April, we will provide you a copy of your course selections to review and finalize. You can use that form to drop and add courses if you have decided to make changes. You cannot add an academic course without the appropriate teacher recommendation. To sign up for a course for which you are not recommended, you will have to meet with your teacher and convince the teacher to revise the recommendation. This form in April, just like the programming sheet, requires a parent signature.
We will talk about ways to plan your courses in just a second, but first we want you to see just how it's done. We're going to talk to a 10th grader who is part of the TV production program, and he will tell you about the courses that are typical for a 10th grader. So this is Paxton Rhodes. Paxton, can you tell me your favorite elective and talk a little bit about it?
Sure. My favorite elective is definitely TV productions. It's just a
Okay.
great way to get creative with all the technology that we have at the school, and you can really express yourself, and it's really fun to just be yourself in class.
Is this your first year in that class?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sounds good. What are some tips you'd give students who plan to take AP World or any AP classes in 10th grade?
Definitely do not procrastinate, because you'll fall behind and there's no catching up once you do. Also, John Green's crash course videos are really handy to use for quick studying.
Okay, so if you didn't catch that, John Green's crash course videos, if you're taking AP World, definitely do that. Check that out. Any other advice you'd give a 10th grader about choosing their courses?
Just do what interests you. Don't do something for if someone else, like if one of your friends is, do something that you'll be engaged in, and so you're not dreading going to class every day.
Okay, sounds good. Awesome advice. Thanks, Paxton.
Thank you.
There are certainly other ways you can find out about courses. Check out the guidance website. It's awesome. The updated curriculum guide is posted and contains course descriptions for every course that will be offered next year, as well as information about prerequisites or other requirements.
Once all of you have met with your counselors, your class choices are entered into our online scheduling program. Based on these choices, the administration knows how many classes and which classes we need to offer next year and creates the master schedule. Since we create this master schedule based on what you ask for, it makes it extremely difficult for us to change your classes next fall. Another factor, of course, is class size restrictions. Most core classes will be maxed out at 25 students when school begins. So if a student suddenly decides to move from an AP to an honors class, there most likely won't be any seats available. So we want all of you to put a lot of thought into your course choices and make sure you have a schedule that you will be happy with and that you can manage next year.
Let's take this step by step so you are familiar with the programming sheet and know how to complete it. Please take a look at the different sections on your sheet and follow along as we highlight some of the most important items.
To determine your core classes for next year, We are gathering level recommendations from your English, math, science, and social studies, as well as your foreign language teachers. These recommendations are based on your performance in class, your test scores, your study habits, and your attendance. When you meet with your counselor, you will find out what level in each subject your teachers have recommended for you.
Now you're going to hear from a junior who will talk about the best courses that you should take during junior year. Okay, so here we have Annalie Collier, and she is a current junior at Plant High School. Annalie, can you talk about some of the APs you're taking or all your classes and which ones you enjoy the most?
Yeah, right now I'm in 4 APs. I'm in AP Calc, American Studies, and AP Psych. And I think that was a good number for me. I'm not too loaded with homework, or I'm not feeling like I'm doing enough, you know?
Okay.
So,
Can you explain what American Studies is?
yeah, it's a mix between AP Lang and APUSH. And once a week, almost every week, you have a combined class. So it's 2 hours long, and you either do a debate or a project or talk about things you're learning in class. And it's just a really good way to make the things more personal and go more in depth with the information you're learning.
And this is your favorite class?
Yes, I think it's
Okay.
the most interesting out of all my classes.
Can you give some advice for juniors in regards to their courses or some tips that you may have for juniors?
Yeah, like Paxton said, I think do something you're drawn to, not things you don't really have interest in. And if you feel like you're going to be too loaded with work, definitely a research class helps. I'm not in one and I feel fine, so if you feel like you can handle it, then try to take as many classes as possible.
And what would you say is probably some of the more tougher, I guess, AP courses?
AP Chem sounds like a lot of work, and AP Bio, but that's just me. I don't really like science. But I think if you like math, AP Calc is definitely something you should do. And other than that, you know, I think everything's like a good balance between work and, like, you know, I don't know.
But definitely sticking to your strengths is something
Yeah.
you would recommend. Okay, thank you so much for your
problem.
advice. Students, when you're considering AP courses, whether you're going into 10th grade or senior year, the first thing you should do is consider the load that will be the best fit for you. You want to have the most appropriate challenge for your ability and be successful along the way. You want your choices to be challenging yet manageable when you factor in all of your activities you are part of outside of school. Something else to consider, especially going into junior and senior year, is the type of courses you are taking, that they are aligned with what your colleges are looking for. For example, if you are considering going into engineering, you will want to consider taking the strongest math and science courses offered at Plant.
Obviously, you want to review the graduation requirements when you're planning your courses for next year. We have provided that information here on your programming sheet. All students must take at least 4 years of English, math, and science. I know the sheet says 3 sciences, but Plant requires 4. You also have to take 3 specific credits of social studies. If you have not already taken Hope or your fine art credit, you might want to include them in your choices for next year. Look at foreign language. You can see that foreign language is not a graduation requirement, but it is required if you plan to attend a 4-year college or university. You must also remember the online requirement. You must take 1 course to meet the online requirement. So you can meet the requirement by taking a semester course online. If you choose to take a year-long course, you must complete both semesters to meet the online requirement. If the graduation requirements, we do want you to make 1 correction. Under the section titled Assessment, it says Passing Score on Grade 10 FSA. Please make the correction that that is for the class of 2017 and beyond, not the class of 2018. Thanks.
Speaking of online classes, many students ask about what classes to take that are more manageable. According to what students tell us, there are some courses that you can finish relatively quickly, maybe within 2 months. Since most of you have limited time outside of school, this definitely would be worth considering, and you should jot some of these suggestions down on your paper. Outdoor education is a new FLVS class That is very popular among plant students. You can earn your boating and fishing license through this class. Other courses are fitness, lifestyle design, parenting skills, peer counseling, and social media. We do not recommend that you take your core classes online. The online version will not prepare you as well to be able to transition into the next course at Plant. But if you do want to take an additional academic elective online, you need to consider that the workload will be tedious and time-consuming, so choose wisely, and maybe consider doing a course of this nature over the summer. So things to know, here's the website. Counselors periodically review requests and approve them. Register early for any summer courses to make sure you get your spot and that it will start at the beginning of summer. Otherwise, you may end up waiting around for a long time to be assigned to a class.
We want to call your attention to the legend on the programming sheet because it contains important information. For example, the $ indicates the course has some fee requirements. An A means you must audition for the class. One very important symbol is the asterisk. Classes with an asterisk are semester classes. If you request a semester class, you will need another semester class as well so that your schedule will be complete. Make sure to include both year-long and semester classes in your elective choices and alternates.
And now for your electives. This is what you will probably spend most of your time planning out.
Now we are going to turn this presentation over to the so fabulous live counselor in your classroom who will give you some information specific to your grade level and answer any questions you have to make sure you do a great job completing your programming sheet. Thank you.
Thank you.